Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the SNHU Learning Community for Week 2, Module 2. Y'all, you have done it. You have completed your very first week here in SNHU, and I hope it went awesome. For some of you, you might be like, I did it. I made it through it. Others are like, I'm feeling pretty good. And some of you might still be trying to figure out your routine and getting things into place. And you know what? That's 100% okay. And it ties in perfectly to our topic this week, which a lot of your assignments are going to focus on for week 2. Prioritizing time for your success. As always, folks, it's so important for you to know that your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is so important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. As a reminder, the OAC team is here to help you make sure that you get content, classroom content, webinar content, in a way that works best for you. If you have questions or think that this might benefit you, please reach out directly to the OAC team. A couple of webinar reminders. Just as a reminder, we offer webinars in 2 different formats. Most of your term, they'll be on demand or pre-recorded just like this, and they're available every Monday morning bright and early when your module starts. Our next live session isn't until Module 6. Keep an eye out in your course announcements and your university email for dates, times, and links to access that. Just a reminder, we are in an academic space, so always be mindful of your conduct. And as always, the webinars for the SNHU Learning Community are not mandatory. They're not graded. There's no extra credit points, but I sure hope that they are helping you and you find them fun to listen to, and also they support your success as you move from week to week. So, couple of Module 2, Week 2 reminders is first and foremost, always make sure that you guys are reading your course announcements and checking your university SNHU email. This is so important because your faculty communicate with you via the announcements. They'll post helpful tips and tricks regarding the assignments and making sure you understand the concepts that you are covering from week to week in your class. Also, your university email, that is how the university communicates with you. So if somebody is trying to get a hold of you or trying to answer your questions, you want to make sure that you are checking those 2 spaces at all times. As a reminder, if you have questions about your class or how you're doing, or you want to know something, don't hesitate to reach out to your faculty and your SNHU advisor. A lot of faculty, of course, will always email. A lot of them list their phone number, and some of them even text message or set up one-on-one appointments or meetings. So just remember, get a hold of us ASAP with your questions. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. We want you to be successful. As a reminder, the week 1 grades will come back this week 2 by Sunday. And I want to make sure that you guys know how to actually check them. So I'm going to show you guys that here in just a little bit. As we head into week 2, module 2, it's really important for you guys to know what's on deck. So this week you have your very first journal assignment. It is important that you have that Microsoft Word or something compatible that you can actually utilize, because the templates, you have a template, so you don't have to start from scratch, are actually in Microsoft Word and they're in the module. So if you have Microsoft Word, you can just open it right up and type right in the template. Remember, you do get Office 365 for free as an SNHU student, and I will be showing you guys the classroom when I get done with the content of this webinar, so you know where to find things and where to click and how to upload everything. With those journal assignment templates, make sure you know how to find and open them. I'm going to show you, but those are due on Sunday. You do have a discussion assignment this week too. As always, just like week 1, when you have a discussion assignment, your initial post is due by Thursday with your 2 classmate responses, or you can do more if you want to. Those are always due by Sunday. So this week you have the journal assignment due by Sunday, and then your classmate response is due by Sunday, initial post due by Thursday. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear for y'all as you head into some new things this week. So I did mention that I wanted to make sure that y'all know how to check your grades. When you go into Brightspace, that learn.snhu.edu where your class is, when you click on course menu, you want to scroll down that little menu to grades. When you click on grades, it is going to open up a list of all the assignments you have for the entire term. So last week in week 1, we had our discussion and our warm-up. So you will see points associated for those 2 grades. You'll see a grade, and then you'll see any comments and assessments. Now remember that warm-up was auto-graded, so that's been graded for a while, but your instructors will be working on grading your actual discussion work. So it's always really important to click on the comments and assessments, Review what your faculty member is saying, things that you did well, things you might want to think about for next time or improve upon. And if you have questions about this, reach out to your faculty and let them know. It's always important to check these weekly at a minimum, just so you can really stay on top of your grades for your success. Or things happen sometimes, like you might have thought you submitted something and the technology world said you didn't. So check those things and just stay on top of your grades. It's really important for your success. So this week here in Module 2, we are talking all about prioritization of our time. And I love this quote by William Penn. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. Does anybody ever think about that? We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But we all tend to use them vastly different. And almost every single one of us constantly says, I wish I just had more time. I wish I had like an extra couple hours in the day, right? So as you added school to your schedule, your routine has changed a little bit. So it's really important to figure out like how you prioritize your time now with school, but also set yourself in really good habits for when you get done and you have that new career, or just being able to manage your time both inside and outside the classroom now. And I like to tell students that you always have to do what works best for you when it comes to managing your time and prioritizing your time in a way that is best for you. So I'm going to repeat after me. I need to do what works best for me. Okay, and we're going to talk about that and a little bit more about what that means. So first and foremost, I want you to think about how you learn, like how you learn best, how you're most comfortable when you're learning or reviewing something new. Think about these things. Does this sound like you? Are you somebody that likes routine, structure, details, due dates or deadlines? Do you need that in your life to feel comfortable with prioritizing your time or knowing what you're doing? Okay, if you do, let's make sure we have those things in place for our success. If you, for example, are not sure about a due date or deadline coming up, why get anxious about it? Reach out to your instructor and ask. Maybe outside of school at work, you have like a project for work and you're missing some like details, or you don't have a routine down quite yet and it's driving you crazy. Let's put that routine in place. Let's ask those questions to get those details so we feel confident in what we're doing and are able to plan, right? Now, on the flip side, does this sound like you? Are you somebody that like has to focus on a few things at a time? If somebody gives you too many things or your list is too long, it's overwhelming. Are you somebody that likes to write things down? If you write things down, it helps you remember like what you're doing and keeps you organized. Maybe you're somebody that needs visuals. I know I'm somebody that if somebody shows me like physically how to do something or where to click, I'm going to remember how to do it. But if somebody just tells me, I might be like, what? What was that again? What was that step? Right? There's always the cross it off people, right? The to-do list. Like I'm a post-it note person. I like to write my like top 3 to 5 things I have to do every day. And I like to cross them off. Sometimes I just put things on the list to cross them off because it makes me happy. Anybody else like that? And I love this one, hearing it. So for example, recording it. I had a student tell me years ago that they used the voice note recorder on their phone, and they recorded their to-do list for the next day that night before, and then they listened to it throughout the day. A great example of doing something that works for you. So think about like, how do you learn best? What resonated with you? Or if you're learning new information or trying to like plan your time, how does it work best for you? And maybe you're a combination of a few things, right? The biggest piece is just really understanding you and how you work best, because you might see somebody with some fancy planner and think like, that's awesome, I need that. And you get a planner and it doesn't help at all, right? It just stresses you out. So you have to think about how you stay organized. Like I mentioned, like I'm definitely somebody that crosses things off. I write things down. I need that visual representation. My significant other is very different. Like he has alarms in his phone and a Google Calendar, like doesn't write anything down. So like we both work in the ways that make sense for us. And as you guys think this week about your assignment questions and you think about your learning styles, I want you to remember, like, when are you the most comfortable? What are the things that you need to feel confident in your time and your day to day and making those plans? Because this week and week 2, y'all are talking about your learning styles, right? And the learning styles we are focusing in on this week. There's a lot of information out there about learning styles. And what I want to make sure you guys know is that one learning style does not fit all. You are very well a combination of many learning styles, and that is 100% okay. I know just one doesn't fit me, and one is not going to fit all of you. Sometimes we have various things that we put together, but for the purpose of this assignment, we have broken down learning styles into being the read-write learning style, the visual graphic learning style, the auditory verbal learning style, and then the tactile kinesthetic learning style. So as you are reviewing your resources and your required materials this week, I want you to really think about what learning style fits you best. And once you recognize that, or maybe it's a combination of both, once you recognize that, what are the things that you need to do or put in place for your success to be able to make different things a priority so that you are successful and feel confident in managing your time? Okay, some things I want you to think about too, as we consider making different things a priority, people, places, things, and really setting ourselves up for success is, have you scheduled your SNHU time? Do you have a set time throughout the week, a couple times a week, every day, where you're sitting down and working on your SNHU work? It can make a huge difference. Prioritization, learning to prioritize, is key. Sometimes we feel like everything needs our attention, right? All at the same time. But we can't always give everything our attention. We have to pick and choose. So as you work through your thoughts on how you stay organized and prioritize your time, think about who and what is a priority and how you'll line that up in your everyday life. Remember to be flexible with yourself, y'all, especially here in week 2, as you're just getting into a routine and trying to figure everything out. Some days are going to be awesome and some days are not. So be flexible with yourself. Give yourself some grace. Be positive. Communicate. Reach out and connect with your faculty. If you're stuck with kind of getting organized and things ready to go in your classes, or you feel like you're falling behind or you're overwhelmed, reach out to your faculty or your advisor. Maybe school's going great, but outside of school, at work, trying to balance work and going to school, maybe that's a lot and it feels heavy right now. Maybe talk to your employer, see if there's anything you can do with like changing up your schedule a little bit, or maybe you could work on assignments when you have like breaks, or like if there's downtime at work. Like, you never know unless you ask, right? Also at home, is there anybody that can help you at home? Delegate. That is a big one for at home. Especially if you have other people living in your household, can they help with laundry, dishes, cleaning? Like, I have my 2 boys, they are 12 and 9. The dishwasher is theirs. They unload it and load it. Sometimes I can't find my dishes for days, but however, it's done. You know what I mean? Like, but it takes something off of my plate. So what is something that maybe you could delegate to help you just have a little bit of extra time and feel more organized? Prepare before. Like, if you know you're going to be out of town or traveling or things are coming up, like, what can you get done before? Can you work ahead on anything? Can you work earlier in the week so that you have that downtime as you need? Just say no is one of my favorites. Who out there is a forever people pleaser? I'm going to let you know right now that no is a complete sentence. Okay? It is okay to say no. We always want to take things on, and it's easy for us to be like, yeah, I can do that, when we really can't. Like, we have a lot going on. Like, it's not a priority for me right now. Try that. It might help. Eliminate those distractions and time stealers, y'all. I'm talking about social media. YouTube videos, Facebook, the Instagram, the Reels. I'm talking about gaming, TV show marathons, Netflix and chill, whatever it is. Those things could easily distract us. And we think that we're scrolling social media or on our phones watching YouTube shorts for 5 minutes. And in reality, it's been like 35 minutes, maybe longer. And our time gets away from us. So I like to tell students, as you're working through trying to get organized and get your schedule, and you like to do those kinds of things, make sure that you give yourself a goal like, hey, I'm going to have my initial discussion post done. When I get that done, I can watch Netflix as long as I want. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself those little goals, those little rewards along the way. And remember, you have so much support here at SNHU. So lean into those SNHU resources, communicate with us, and also those people that are at home supporting you outside of the classroom. They are there for your success too. So now we've talked a lot about like time, right? And things for us to think about, like our learning style and how we get organized and how we learn best and how we feel more in control of our time. So let's apply this to our assignments for Module 2. So this week in Module 2, first and foremost, you have a discussion assignment. Initial post due by Thursday. Peer responses due by Sunday. Minimum of 2. Yes, you can do more. You can work ahead earlier in the week if you want to. This week's discussion assignment is all about identifying schedule interruptions. So you're going to be thinking about what or who can interrupt your schedule. What do you have control over? What do you not have control over? And how do you handle it? Plus, we're going to bring in a little bit of a diversity component and think about how do different cultures view time, because we don't view it the same. So review the discussion prompts, think about your experiences, think about your time as you answer the questions for the week 2 discussion. And then your other assignment for the week is your very first week 2 journal assignment. So as a reminder, this is a template. So I will show you guys here in a minute how to find that template, but you open it up and you type directly in here. This is just a copy, a screenshot of what the template looks like. So for the module 2 journal, you are going to be opening it up and you're going to be answering all of these questions in the actual assignment. So question 1 is like, what is your preferred receptive learning style? So you can choose one. You can choose more than one. Like I said, you might be multiple. You want to make sure you choose them. And then you want to answer like, how will understanding your learning style help support your success inside and outside the classroom? Write your response here. Use complete sentences, okay? And then you're going to go through and make sure that you answer all of the rest of the questions. So question number 2 is you're identifying a problem-solving technique or method you have used in a previous situation and explain how it worked for you, okay? Question number 3, how do you plan to stay organized or prioritize your SNHU study time? Hey, I mentioned this earlier, right? What are we doing? Question number 4 is to make sure that you guys check that module 2 resources section, because there is an article in there about the 5 habits of successful SNHU students. You want to list them and know what they are and make sure that you align with them, because I promise you that you're probably going to be right on track with them. And then question number 5 is to choose 2 of the 5 habits of successful SNHU students that you feel will be most helpful in prioritizing your study time while at SNHU and explain why, okay? Again, you can find those 5 habits of successful SNHU students in the module 2 resources section. So that is the 2 assignments that you have for this week here in module 2. So hold on just a second, and I am actually going to go into module 2, and I wanted to show you where things are. So as a reminder, course menu, learning modules, and you want to click on module 2. When you get to module 2, remember to click on the introduction, because it's going to go over an overview of what you're going to be covering, some of the top tips and some of the concepts you're going to be looking through. Always make sure that you check this required resources section. You'll see the chapters you're reading for this week. You'll see any helpful videos that are on here. Here's that reading, 5 Habits of Successful SNHU Students right here. So remember to make sure you're reviewing all of those necessary videos and reading parts. And then when you guys continue to arrow over, you're going to see the discussion assignment, which we already talked about that. You're thinking about schedule interruptions, what you can control, what you can't. You guys know how to start a new thread, create your initial post, and respond to your classmates. When you get to your journal assignment, you want to make sure that you click on guidelines and rubric. And when you pull that up, it's going to give you an overview. It's going to go over the directions, and it's going to tell you what to submit. And then down here is the module 2 journal rubric, which explains how you're going to be graded on this assignment. Now, you want to actually click the blue, gets you to where you want to go, this module 2 journal assignment. It will download into your computer, and it'll pull up just like this. You want to click on enable editing. And when you do that, it allows you to actually type right in here. Okay, so for example, question 1, what is your preferred receptive learning style? Choose from the following. As a reminder, you can choose more than one, right? So you can go in here and you can just list the 2 or 1 that identify with you. So for example, for me, I would probably be more the read and write and visual and graphic. So I'm going to say that. That's me. And then how will understanding this help me in the classroom? You just type your response right here. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Same thing, question 2. When I go to answer it, I type right here. Okay, so you're going to do that and write your responses for every single question. You're going to save it, and then you're going to upload it into your classroom environment. So I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys where to find that template. Remember, again, it's actually in the content under what to submit. So here for week 2, you have that journal assignment, and then you have your week 2 discussion post. Really think about how your time can serve you and what and who is a priority and what you need to be able to feel your most confident and you're most put together as you move from week to week in your SNHU 107 class. Last but not least, before I leave you, oh, whoops. I wanted to remind you of one of my favorite quotes. So hold on just a second. This is one of my favorite quotes by Harvey Mackay. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once you've lost it, you never get it back. So use your time wisely, make yourself a priority, and figure out what you need to have your most successful term. Have a great week too, everybody. I'll see you next week in week 3. And remember, you got this. Have a great week 2.